Overflow Oracle. Today I'm doing a general reading for Gemini. So if you are a Gemini sun, a Gemini moon, or a person who has significant Gemini placements in their natal chart, maybe even a Gemini ascendant, this reading is for you. If it does not resonate, that is okay too. Remember, this reading is not necessarily for everyone, but it should affect many of our Gemini folks. So, we're starting with the language of light already. Rediscovery, communication. Geminis tend to be very good communicators anyway. Maybe even have a bit of a fiery tongue. Two flames. Gemini, you are cutting through the BS, aren't you? You're setting the captives free with some powerful words. This is great, but be mindful to pay attention to your intuition. Don't just go spouting things for the sake of spouting things. We can speak truth, but we can do it in a way that is loving, that will help others grow, that will give them exactly what they need to hear to do the things they need to do in a way that is not combative. They can trust your judgment. Okay. We have two cards already here that are talking about your path. And I feel like this is a path of liberation. This is your higher purpose. You do need to set some boundaries. Again, I believe that this actually is reflective of the boundaries that you need to set on your tongue. You know, it is a sharp sword. Your tongue has great power, and the words that you speak are spells. So you want to pay attention to whether or not you're speaking, as a Gemini tends to do, from a place of intellect, or whether you're speaking from your heart. Those boundaries that you need to set may be allowing other people to speak into your life things that aren't true. But I think it's also setting boundaries on yourself. Where are you only speaking from a place of logic, or are you speaking from a place of love? The words can sound the same, but have very different meaning depending on how you present them. If you're speaking from a place of love, that will always be evident. If you're speaking from a place of logic, that will be evident too. Maybe not to you, but to everyone else, that will be evident. Get back to your roots. Sometimes you have your head in the clouds a bit. Always curious, always exploring the intellectual realms. But sometimes your communication needs to be thoughtful and with purpose and intention. And I understand. I love the intellectual realms. I love speaking from a place of knowledge and wisdom, but it's when I speak from the heart that it truly touches another soul. It truly produces a good work, something fruitful. It allows people to have the opportunity to see the world and see their emotions and see their state of being in a new way, in a way that is helpful, insightful, that helps them to align to their purpose and to truly blossom, to be able to transform into the person that they need to be. I spent the weekend with a dear friend, and there was a lot of discussion like this. It was much introspection. Being able to share truth and love with this friend was revolutionary, not only for her, but for me as well. You can do this too, Gemini. Be flexible, be willing to think outside of the box a little bit. Yes, you are brilliant. You are incredibly smart. Just don't let your knowledge get in the way of your heart. Yes, sometimes I am a poet. You can be both. You can be intellectual and still be full of love, still be full of divine truth. It's going to take some self-discovery, maybe even putting some things to death. Changing the way you perceive yourself even. Trusting that sometimes the things that we need to say don't need to be over-intellectualized. They can be divinely inspired, insightful, intuitive. I feel like you need another card from the Numinous deck. Empowering. Yeah. This really is empowering. I am very much a logical, very analytical person. And I didn't necessarily grow up with a tremendous amount of religious dogma, but I ended up imposing it on myself in my early adult years. And it caused me to be very rigid in my thinking. And I'm the kind of person who likes to push boundaries, who likes to test limits, but religion really pigeonholed me. It made me believe that only one way is the right way. And that's simply not accurate. You can love a divine being by whatever name you choose and still lean into the miraculous gifts that are given by divinity without being a blasphemer, without being a charlatan or a heretic. Because the things that truly come from a place of heart are indeed divinely inspired. It's when we get into our head that we get all of these untruths. And in terms of the Bible, let's say, Christianity calls Satan or the devil the liar, the deceiver, the accuser. When we get too far into our heads, we start to tell ourselves things that just aren't true. Well, you should have done this, or you could have done it that way, or why on earth would you say something like that? But when we speak from our heart, and we remember that it is something that is authentic, that it is for the building up of another, even if it's criticism, it can still be for the building up of someone else. It can still be from a place of caring and compassion. You could say, I really hate it when you always start arguments with me. Or you could say, I feel disconnected from you when we argue. It takes the onus off of just them. And don't get me wrong, some people need to be reminded of their participation, of their responsibility in a particular situation. But it's not all their fault. Sometimes it's just poor communication on our part too. So being aware of the fact that the words you speak can still say the same point, it can still get the same message across, but can do it in a way that is open and receptive, and that the other person maybe will respond to in a positive way instead of becoming defensive. That's going to be tremendously helpful for you in the growth of your relationships. Got the Six of Wands. And this is when we don't try to be more diplomatic with our communication, we can cause a disconnect. Right? But if we learn to be full of love and full of compassion, there will be victory through that. There will be a celebration, but you have to make a choice. Be mindful of the situation. Perhaps you are dealing with someone who is just absolutely combative and difficult, and maybe they need a little hard truth spoken into their lives. Tough love, as they say. It's still love, but it speaks truth, and that is the way love works. Love is a lover of truth, a seeker of truth. Love doesn't tell you whatever you want to hear just so it doesn't hurt your feelings. But it does it in a tactful way. It does it with impact. Right? It's better to have a harsh word come from someone who is giving it to you with love and compassion than it is to have a pleasant word dripping with honey but is full of lies. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to be lied to just to make themselves feel better. Seriously, you know, if you go and say, honey, how does this look on me? Does this make me look fat? And they're just like, oh no, you look amazing. And meanwhile, your dress is tucked into the back of your underwear, and you've got toilet paper on your shoe, and your lipstick's all messed up, and your eyeliner's crooked, and you know, or maybe you're a male and you think you're dressed to the nines, but you're missing a button, and again, there's this victory. It's gonna bring so much joy to say, you know, maybe we can fix you up a little bit. Things aren't quite right. You have the potential to look amazing, but having your dress tucked into your underwear is probably not how you want to step out of the house. Right? This is going to bring a lot of harmony in your relationships. You're going to have a lot more connection. It's going to be so much more beneficial for you. So much more beneficial. It's going to be so much more beneficial for your loved ones as well. It's going to be something that leads you deeper into yourself, reminds you to love yourself, trust yourself, because if you are speaking truth to others, then you're willing to be lovingly critical of yourself in a way that helps you find your own voice. You'll be listening to your higher self, trusting that others are going to be sharing truth with you as well. It's going to help you put your guard down a little bit, to know that you are divinely guided by your soul. Your gifts are so much sweeter, so much more valuable when they come from a place of perfect love. Love yourself today, Gemini. Tell yourself the truth in love, and then do the same for others. I hope this reading has blessed you today, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. I would so appreciate it if you would share this message with someone you think might need it. Maybe another Gemini in your life. And if you would hit that like button and subscribe to my channel to stay updated on all of the readings. I pray you have a magnificent day, and I'll see you again soon. Blessings.